Welcome to Book Huddle. I'm your host, Karen Reeder. Today, our guest is one that I am just super excited to have. We have Dan Gutman, and he has written so many wonderful children's books. Like the one that so many people are familiar with is the My Weird School books.
Yeah.
But what we want to talk about, oh, and he's sporting the shirt. That is so awesome. So the one we're going to talk about today, though, is one that just came out. So it's The Beatles Couldn't Read Music. I think we say first, what? The Beatles Couldn't Read Music? Want to show us? And so, wait, what? Yeah, we definitely need to add that. So
Wait,
this
what?
is so much fun. He has a series of these different biographies about these, and some of them are kind of like unusual characters. Like we've got Lucille Ball, right? And so some that kids might not have thought of. Yeah, did you know? Didn't have eyebrows.
True fact. Everything is true, Karen.
And I love that. I love that so much. So are all of these characters that you've done these on something that I know Beatles, that you're a Beatles fan, right? Are they all
Dramatic, yeah.
something that you've just taken an interest in, or how do you pick these characters?
Not necessarily somebody I'm interested in. It all started because, well, I like to read biographies myself, and I know a lot of kids do too.
Mhm.
Those biographies that are really popular with the big heads, the Who Was series,
Yes. Yes.
they're really successful. And I've read a lot of biographies for kids, and I found them to be kind of boring, honestly.
Right.
And so I thought, okay, what if I wrote some biographies where instead of just focusing on so and so was born, lived, and died,
Right.
what if I just looked for and researched the unusual, oddball,
Yes.
funny aspects of their lives and
Yes.
focus on them instead of just cut out all the boring stuff? So that's what I started doing.
I love
And
it.
we
Well,
just
and then
made
the
a
kids, they'll go dig deeper if that fun stuff sparked interest.
Right, exactly. Right. They can read the boring stuff after that, after they read mine. But my editor and I sat down and we thought, like, who should we cover?
Right.
And so we needed people who, A, had a long, productive career that we could gather a lot of material of. So we
Right.
picked like Albert Einstein was a
Yes.
dope. That was the first one.
That's funny.
Okay.
Your
Uh,
titles are just awesome. Like all of your books, you just get great titles. Oh, it's chicken.
Muhammad Ali was a chicken because he was afraid of flying, by the way.
Oh, okay,
Um,
okay.
yes. Amelia Earhart is on the moon, right?
Well,
Not
I'm
that
gonna
she's
have to go
very
check that
funny.
one out.
And Ruth Bader Ginsburg couldn't drive.
Huh.
Yeah, she flunked her driving test 5 times, Karen.
Wow.
Yeah. And of course, Lucille Ball. The thing with her was like she, back in the 1940s when she was getting started,
Right.
uh, it was like Hollywood fashion for actresses to shave off their eyebrows.
Oh yeah,
And
my
then,
grandma shaved her eyebrows
yeah, and
and
then
then
they
drew them in later.
drew something in. And usually I think the eyebrows grow back, but
Mhm.
in Lucy's case, they didn't. And she had
Yep.
to draw them in for the rest of her life. So
Yep.
that's why it's called Lucille Ball had no eyebrows.
Oh
But
man.
the Beatles, I've been a Beatle maniac
Yes.
uh, ever since I was a kid and saw them on the Ed Sullivan Show in
Oh, that's so awesome
1964.
to have seen that. Can you imagine if you'd been out playing with friends that day instead of seeing that just historic moment? I love that you
Oh,
saw that. My
it
mom
was
remembers it too.
it changed my life, and I've been a fan ever since. Long after they split up.
Right?
And kids will ask me like, who is your inspiration?
Right.
And most children's book authors usually say, well, I admired, Dr. Seuss or some other great children's
Yes,
book author, but
Lewis. Yeah.
I didn't even like to read when I was a kid.
Oh, really?
No, I
We're
hated.
gonna have to make one. Wait, what? Dan Gutman didn't like to read?
Yeah, I thought reading was boring and hard to do. And my mother was worried about me, so
Mhm.
she used to buy me comic books, hoping it would get me interested in reading.
Right.
And it wasn't until I was in like, I guess, fourth or fifth grade, I became a big sports fan. And
Awesome.
suddenly I wanted to know everything about sports. So that got me into reading.
Nice.
So my heroes growing up were not authors, but I always did admire creative people. Like my heroes were like Thomas Edison, uh,
Nice.
the Wright brothers,
Mhm.
Picasso,
Nice.
and more than anybody else that has inspired me, it was the Beatles,
Nice.
for their originality, their talent, their sense of humor.
Their
and
willingness to go be weird, like later in their later years, right?
yes, their willingness to evolve and change and break the rules.
That's awesome.
And that inspires me. So that's why I have been obsessed, and that's why I wrote this book.
Oh, that is so fun.
Yeah.
All right. Favorite Beatles song?
Well, you're putting me on the spot, but I would say, can I pick a couple?
Yes, we'll say three. Top three. How's this?
Okay, back in the
Revolution.
USSR.
No, I'm just kidding.
What?
I said Revolution. Is it Revolution number 9? Just kidding.
I like the first revolution. I'm not too crazy about Revolution number 9, but back in the USSR, certainly.
Okay. Back in the USSR.
Day Tripper,
Day Tripper.
love it. And I saw her standing there.
Nice.
How about you?
Now I can't think of the title.
What is it? Tell me what it's about.
I could sing it. It'll sound really good.
Go ahead.
The girl.
Lovely Rita.
No.
No.
I've just seen a girl. I can't forget that.
I've just seen a face.
I've just seen a face. Okay, well that's easy enough. I should know that. That's one of my favorite. I always liked that. And
What's your favorite Beatle album?
White.
Me too.
Yes. Easy that. Yeah. I know. I was recently pulling them out as I've been watching all of those and listening with my boys. And so we've been playing the White mostly, and then their one album, their number one hit.
Yeah. When I just posted the other day that when streaming music came out and I got rid of all my records and CDs, I could not get rid of my Beatle albums.
Yes. Oh no, definitely not.
They're the only ones I had to hang on to. So I got about 15 of them here.
Nice. I love it. I love it. That's so awesome. Okay, so what was your first book? Because I know actually through following you on Facebook that you had some that just did not get the popularity that some of
a lot.
So, how many books have you written total that were published?
180.
Oh my gosh. As I'm telling people, I'm like, he's written well over 50 books, probably well over 50 Weird School, right? And then
there's almost 100 My Weird School books now.
Okay. And then 100.
Did you ask me my first book?
What was the first one that gained success for you?
Oh, I thought you were going to say my first one, period, because that one certainly did not gain any success at all. My first one that kind of put me on the map a little bit was in 1996. I did a book called The Kid Who Ran for President.
Oh, okay.
About a kid who runs for president.
Right. Nice.
And it came out just before the 1996 presidential election.
Nice.
And, every 4 years it would sell more copies. So that's the first time I had a book that was successful.
Okay. And then you have some about sports players, right? Is it just baseball players or
baseball players?
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and that goes back to your interest in sports. And that one's a good, successful series that a lot of people.
Yeah. There were 12 books. It's about a kid who has the power to travel through time using a baseball card like a time machine. And he goes on various. Huh?
I just said, oh, wow. Like I didn't realize that that's the premise. Okay.
Yeah. He goes on adventures with baseball players from the past, such as Hannes Wagner, Jackie Robinson, Babe Ruth, Shoeless Joe Jackson, Satchel Paige, Ted Williams, guys like this. And
so fun.
I did it for a long time, actually.
Okay, so there's a number of those in the series, and then we just mentioned that there's the My Weird School has tons. So at what point did you want to, because does it have some factual in the baseball ones?
Oh yeah, it's definitely a blending of fact and fiction, which I love to do.
Perfect. And so at what point did you bring these biographies in to your writing? When did you decide you were going to start doing biographies? Was it like, I've got some success here, I feel like the waters are safe, that I can do this nonfiction?
Yeah. Well, I started out writing nonfiction a million years ago.
All right.
And I saw that like all the famous authors wrote fiction. Right. So I said, I want to write fiction. So I started writing fiction, and I got successful at it.
Great.
But I still enjoy nonfiction, reading it and writing it. Good. So I guess it was about maybe 5 years ago. I thought I would do My Weird biographies. I would extend the My Weird School brand to biographies. Yes. And I brought this to my publisher, which is HarperCollins, and they rejected it. So I took it to another publisher, the idea. and it's published by Norton Young Readers.
Yes, I saw that. And I had to kind of look around and I saw that you had more than one publishing house. Okay, so that was the reason for that.
Yeah, so most of my books are published by HarperCollins, but this series is published by Norton.
Oh, okay. Okay, excellent. So is that what you were doing? Because I have Fast Facts. So they did do some
Yes,
nonfiction with
yes, those are nonfiction books that are published with the My Weird School series, but they're not
okay.
biographies.
But they're not biographies, and you wanted to do this biography. So we had to go away from My Weird School since it was coming to a new publishing house. And
Yeah.
so that's where it became Wait What, right?
Yeah, so I invented these two characters, Paige and Turner,
Are
actually
they
are their names.
siblings? I can't remember.
They are siblings, yes.
Okay.
And
Okay.
basically, the books are sort of them bantering back and forth about the subject. And they're sort of like competing with each other to dig up the most obscure
Yes.
facts about these people. Like, for instance, do you know, Karen, why, what is the inspiration for the song Ticket to Ride?
I was told that it was to get his girlfriend to get an abortion. Was that not it?
Interesting. I never
Yeah.
heard that. Well, the true inspiration for the song is that John and Paul, before they were famous, they
Right.
hitchhiked. They took a vacation hitchhiking together to a town in England called Ryde, Ryde, and that's the inspiration for Ticket to Ride.
Wow.
Yeah,
So is
I didn't know
Jude
that.
to his son? Am I correct on that one? Is Jude to John's son?
Say that. What about John's son?
Is Hey Jude, is that to John's son?
Yes, Paul wrote that for Julian when his parents were splitting up. Yes.
Oh, okay. But Paul wrote it.
Paul wrote it, yes, to make
Oh,
Julian feel better. Paul was sort of like an uncle, probably still
of
is,
course, right?
to
Yeah.
Julian. Yeah, and he wrote it to comfort him with his parents splitting up.
Wonderful. So how many of the facts that you share in your Wait What book on the Beatles did you already know because you already knew so many things? And how many were they new bits of information?
A lot of it was stuff I didn't know.
Oh, cool.
Um, because I mean, I know a lot, but I figure most Beatle fanatics know a lot. So I
Mm.
really wanted to put a lot of stuff in that people didn't know so that they
Okay.
would really get something new. Like, here's the weirdest fact in the book. Okay,
Yes.
you ready for this one?
Yes.
Okay, which Beatle, you ready for this?
I'm
Had
waiting. I'm on.
which Beatle had the hairiest legs?
It's gonna be George.
Wrong.
Paul.
It's Paul. Yes, it's
Paul.
Paul. Yes. Before they were famous, he had a girlfriend named Dot, and he'd go over her house
Oh,
and
I
yeah,
remember now. Ah,
and Dot's mother would comb Paul's
leg
legs because they
hair.
were so hairy.
Oh gosh. Oh
So
goodness.
I
I
look,
need to pay
I
more
look for,
attention. If I'm going to read a book, I got to be ready. An author might quiz me.
I look for weird stuff like that.
That is too awesome. How do you find those? These kind of
I read tons of Beatle books.
just
Yeah,
scouring,
I would go to the library and I look up stuff, and I also I made a trip to Liverpool years ago.
right?
My wife and I made a pilgrimage there, and the woman who was our tour guide, her name is Jackie Spencer. She was amazing, and I
We'll
asked her.
include the link in case anybody wants to go on this tour while you're
Oh
there.
yeah, Jackie Spencer in Liverpool. You look her up and you'll find her. But I said to her, you know, which of the all the thousands of books about the Beatles would I be best to read to dig up a lot of stuff that I don't know already?
Right,
And she suggested a bunch of books, and I read them all.
right.
And every time I would read a book, I'd go through the whole book page by page. And every time I saw something that I didn't know, or I thought that people probably didn't know, I
Right.
would make a note of it and include it in the book.
Oh, that's so awesome. I just, as you know, I used to be a sixth grade teacher. I could totally picture this being such a fun project of taking your set. How many have you got now? Five of the,
Seven.
wait, seven. Yeah, perfect class project. The small groups, kids can pick a book and then they write up a little report using that, and then they can go to outside sources. And what a fun way to have them read and get an introduction to some nonfiction. Like, I think this is going to be such a fun tool using these books, and then also opening their eyes to things that, like, my kids, like, didn't know who they were listening to, I guess, which shame on me because it's plain, but they didn't realize much about the Beatles. And I was like, well, I have something for you then now. That's excellent. Well, that is so fun. Do you have another one in the works?
I do not. I don't know that the publisher hasn't asked me to extend the series any further. I
Okay.
don't know if they will.
Okay.
So 7 books for now.
7 books is pretty dang good though, I think, should think.
I'm
100,
not complaining. I had a lot
180,
of
now we
fun.
get these out.
Had a lot of fun writing these, and all things must pass, as George
Yes.
said. Right?
Yes, that's right. They must. Yes, they
Yeah.
must. Okay, so what about does My Weird School, are they continuing to spit stuff out of there? Is that will continue
Oh yeah.
because
It's
that's so
it's
popular?
it's the most successful thing I ever did.
And
I
then,
started it back in 2004. I never knew it was going to be a series at all,
right.
but then they asked for 4, and then they asked for 4 more,
And
and
then they asked for 100.
soon we're going to be up to number 100, actually.
That is so awesome. Okay,
Yeah.
so then do you have other little side projects that you're working on? Oh, I can't remember. There's another series that has like 3 in the series, right? It's a Kids on Adventure that's on my to be read in Audible.
I think you're thinking of either Flashback 4
They're a genius something.
or the Genius
Genius
Files.
Files, that's what's on. Yeah.
Yeah, those are some other series that I
Are
do,
they
but
all complete?
they're complete. Yeah. Now I'm working on some kind of one-shot books now
Okay.
that are not
Kind of
parts
like
of
the Houdini
series.
and Me.
Houdini and Me, yes, which was with another publisher called Holiday House. Uh,
Okay.
I live 8 blocks from where Harry Houdini used to live in New
That's
York
awesome.
City.
That's
And
awesome.
there's a plaque on the wall
Uh-huh.
outside his house that said he lived there. And I had this idea. I said, what if a kid grew up living in Harry Houdini's house?
What if?
And what if, the big question,
Yes.
and what if he found a way to communicate with the spirit
Mhm.
of Harry Houdini, who died in 1926,
Yes.
via text message? So that's what Houdini and Me
Oh,
is
that's so fun. Well, I know that one's a popular one too. My to be read shelf is just so huge, but I know I've got that Genius Files on my Audible list, and then that Houdini and Me. I've got to read soon. I love it. So, as an author, I know you didn't as a young child, but can you tell me what is one of your favorite children's books that you could share with the audience besides your own book?
Yeah, I was thinking about that question because you told me you were going to ask it.
Yes.
And I remember when my son was little, and he's 33 now, by the
Okay.
way. When my son was little, we discovered an amazing book, which I don't know that many people know about it. It's by a Hungarian author named István Banye, and
Oh,
it's called Zoom,
uh-huh.
and it's a picture book,
Is it
and
wordless?
it's wordless.
I have it. I have
You
it on my
have
shelf.
it?
Yes,
Are
I
you
do.
kidding me?
No, I have it.
I don't have it.
I
I
can
used to have it.
find it. I'll probably wait until I stop because, but yes,
Oh,
it's Zoom. It's like just
yes.
big red, and there's like nothing on the cover but the word Zoom.
And
And
it starts with a picture,
yes,
and then it zooms out, and then it zooms out, and then it keeps zooming out every time you
yes,
turn the page. It zooms from like a farm to a
yes.
ship
I'm gonna see if
to
I can
a
grab it.
city
Keep going.
block
Keep
to
going.
a desert island to outer space. It's an amazing book. It's just zooming out, and I think that's an amazing children's book that deserves more attention than it got when it came out way back in 1998.
I found it.
You found it? Ah, can you show a few pages?
Yes, let's do it. Because and that's the reason that that I got this when I was in elementary school.
Yeah.
So here, this is the rooster close up, right?
Yes. Then it zooms out.
Go in.
Yep. Then it zooms out again. The rooster standing in a window. And then it zooms out again. And these 2 kids are looking. And it keeps zooming back and back and back
Mhm.
until I don't remember how it ends. But it's just
Oh, they're playing with
amazingly
things.
clever and
Yes,
beautiful.
going.
Yeah.
Oh, over the top.
Yeah.
There we go. The
It just
world.
it just keeps zooming.
So
So
yeah,
amazing.
um, that was when I was in elementary ed. They were saying how It's so important to try to bring things to children that are not the typical, to try to find all audiences. Like, Howard Gardner's multiple intelligences, that was a big thing when I was going to school, is that we all learn differently. And so we can't expect all kids to love to read the same. And this is still a book, and it is consuming, and it is experiencing and learning and growing. And so it's so much that can be taken off of it. And that's actually what I love about all of your writing is, for one, these are so silly and fun, but then, you had the factual, and then you've had the time traveling and the what if, texting with a dead magician. Oh my gosh. Loving it. And then these biographies, like there are so many different ways. And then of course, graphic novels are becoming so big right now. And I think it's just because we're realizing more and more how important it is to find more ways to reach kids because of the enormous importance of what reading can do for them.
Yeah, I think if there was one thing that tied all my books together, it's that I like to take an ordinary kid and
Yes,
put the kid into an extraordinary situation.
that's awesome.
Because I figure these are the kinds of stories that kids could really relate to. They could say, hey, what if that was me? What if that was my story? And I think that really fascinates kids. And that's the kind of stories that I like to write.
Well, beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Dan, for just bringing an author and bringing so much fun and creativity to children's lives. I just love it.
Well, same to you, Karen. I thank you for having me on your podcast, and keep up the good work. And everybody who's watching this, the parents and kids should read lots of books, but especially mine. Okay.
Especially, yeah. Oh, and forgot to say, we are doing a drawing. If you've been watching this video, please leave a comment down below. And I'm just going to pick someone at random, and I'm going to give away a copy of the new Beatles Wait What book, because this is one that you're definitely going to want on your shelf if you have kids or if you're just a Beatles lover.
And I hope people will also follow me on social media, on Facebook,
Yes.
Instagram, Twitter, all that kind of stuff.
Okay, we're going to put that in the links and then in the description also to your website, because I did see actually your shirts and awesome products that you can.
Yes, people can buy all kinds of My Weird School.
Yes, because teachers love, I love to wear book shirts. And so,
Me
I
too.
read past my bedtime, and I love to find book shirts to read. So there we go. Another great source for that.
Okay.
Bye.
Thanks. Thanks, Karen.
Bye-bye.